Good evening. It's Monday again. October. No, excuse me. I did that again. Twice in twice in 1 month. It is November the 5th, 2018, and welcome to the Stunt Hanger video hangout where we chat about aeromodeling and that includes you folks that come in on the YouTube side that want to just watch anonymously, or if you wish, you can chat in the text chat box over there on YouTube. Everybody's welcome. And for those of you in the text chat over on YouTube, then if you see the $sign, that's a super chat symbol at the bottom of the chat box, and that's a way you can give us a little bit of a donation, some walking around money for server fees and for me hobby supplies, I guess. And anyway, we appreciate that. And if you can, that's great. If you can't, then we understand. You're welcome. And if you just don't want to, then that's fine too. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's got their reasons. And so our reason for being here is to entertain the world uh, on Monday nights and Friday nights at 8:40 Eastern USA time. And I see we've got somebody from the southern part of the world here. Gerald Wimmer just popped into the YouTube chat with the contribution. Thanks for that, Gerald. And I hope you can get in with us live tonight. And that goes for everybody. If y'all will go to the At the Bench thread on the Stunt Hanger Control Line forums, then you have to be logged in to see the thread, but it's called At the Bench. And you click the link in there, and that'll bring you into my video and audio chat box here where we can see each other as we talk. And the link to the YouTube watch page is in there too, but you can just go to the Stunt Hanger YouTube homepage, and the owner of that page just popped in. Let me approve the boss and let him in. And oh, come on, boss. Hang on just a second. And my buttons, as you know, are slow to work sometimes. There we go. Okay, second push. That's not too bad. And this is Sparky. And are you in St. Louis tonight?
I am.
Congratulations. You finally made it home.
Yeah.
You know, where all your tools and supplies are.
So, yeah, I did a video this afternoon. You probably didn't watch it, but
I did actually. I watched about 2/3 of it before I had to go take a break, but that was pretty good. And I see a lot of elbow grease going into that, rubbing out that beautiful shiny finish.
No, not that one. I put these decals on today: Shell, Wix, Stunthangar, Motel 6.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you got to have the Motel 6.
They're not decals. They're painted on there.
Right. And Gerald just joined us live. I hear a little reverb going on. Hopefully that'll clear up. You doing all right, Gerald?
Hello, Sparky.
Hey, yeah, sound is clear now. Okay, so let me click on Sparky's image now that I got you set up. Oh yeah, I see the Motel 6 logo there. I almost called it a decal again. Stunthanger.com.
It's looking good.
Yeah, that's a sharp looking plane. I like that a lot.
This shell over here, I don't know that you probably can't see it.
But, I couldn't tell what it was. Yeah, was that a Shell Oil logo?
Yeah.
That's my preferred gasoline.
Motel 6.
Yep.
Stunthangar. Wix. Make sure we got this here.
Back it up. There's the Wix. Yeah.
And can you see the shell now?
And now we can see the Shell logo. Yeah. Super Shell. All right.
I had some tank hanger stencils that I used on my Thunderbolt, and I was going to put my name underneath it, but I couldn't make it work. But I did make emergency canopy release work. I painted an arrow there. I got a bunch of no push things on
Yeah.
I made it work.
Yeah.
And then this side says enter cockpit from left side only.
Yeah, I liked all those safety warnings. That makes it, gives it a real, like a real airplane touch with all of those safety warnings like that.
Need a safety warning up there. Do not flip this prop with your finger.
Yeah. Blood may occur.
Mm.
Do not squeeze the sheeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No squeezing the sheeting.
Yeah, no squeeze here.
I suppose with the molded shape of many of the new models, they're all a bit delicate like that. You've got to be careful how you handle them. And with the huge power of the PA-75, you tell people to grip it very carefully.
Well, if you're going to build light airplanes, there's not going to be a whole lot of structure there. I mean, you got light wood, not much of it.
Yeah, except for guys like Trey and that build them out of the composite stuff. That's a whole new realm of strength there for.
His airplane is very squishy.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah. There ain't much there. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's composite or balsa wood. If you know, there's just not much there, so it's pretty squishy.
Yeah, I imagined it being rigid, but
No, not at all. His fuselage is mushy. His wings are mushy. There's nothing there. There's no ribs in it.
Yeah.
No bulkheads. It's just a shell.
Yeah.
I suppose just enough strength there to do the job. Nothing excess.
That's all you need. I guess I got more than I need here because he's 10 ounces lighter.
Well, yeah, but you got two completely different schools of engineering going into those two different planes.
Billy's Thunderbolt is only 53 ounces, and it's this size.
How does he do it? Has he got bags of helium hidden inside the
I
wings?
have no idea. You got super light wood, and you know, we got the best of wood, and that must be using Jap tissue and not much paint. You know, like my next one, I'm going to try to drop off the 10 ounces. I don't know how, but all molded 16th inch fuselage sides, molded 16th inch wing tips. This wing here is made out of 3/32. We're going to go to all 16th. You know, you got to try to knock the wood off somewhere.
Yeah.
The only bad thing about using 16th inch sheeting instead of 3/32, there's zero sanding you can do on it.
You'll take all the strength away. I suppose like in the past where people tried using 132 sheeting, that really was too delicate. It offers no strength at all. It sags in between all the ribs on a D box and stuff. You'd have to use rock hard 132 if you found a use for it.
Hey, you just defeated your purpose by using 10-pound 32nd.
Yeah, yeah.
Just use 5-pound 16th.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't sand it either. It would finish terribly, really hard on 132nd.
Terry Fuller's just joined us over on the YouTube side. So we got 8 viewers on YouTube so far, most of which are incognito at the moment. Hopefully some of them can come in here and visit us live.
I only had one chatter today, and that was Gerald.
I was lucky I could just squeeze it in while I was doing another job inside. I was squeezing live.
Did you finally come in live, Gerald? Oh, you're talking about the other video. The rubbing video was one nobody ever showed up except a few YouTube posters when I was watching that.
Right.
Yeah, I wished I could have come, and I noticed it, but it was too late by the time I noticed it. But I can't always, because of the time frames. Like I missed your show on what would have been the Friday night show because my wife just had us shopping all day and doing other chores. And like today, I have to try and do all my gardening stuff in the morning. I planted about a zillion plants, and then had to work on a car, pull the dashboard out, and rush to get it all back together so I could come online.
Is it tomorrow there? What time is it?
It is
Monday.
tomorrow there.
Monday, about 3:45, Monday afternoon. So I've got the kids sorted out. We've moved forward with our time, so the kids have got their afternoon tea snack and a cup of coffee each, and they're entertaining themselves. Luckily, they're old enough that they're quite good to leave on their own now.
So you're behind us.
We're a day.
Right. I was confused. I was thinking you were ahead of us, but you're not. Yeah, you're GMT. You're GMT plus what?
We're actually plus about 18 hours. So
plus 18. Okay, yeah, we're GMT minus 5 here.
Well, this is Monday night.
I'm confusing things. I'm talking in your terms of Monday. It's Tuesday here.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah. So it's tomorrow there.
All right.
Yep. Tomorrow there. Yeah. Yeah. We had Guy Fawkes yesterday. I don't know if you heard about Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes is the English celebration where they celebrate the man that tried to blow up Parliament 400 years ago in England, and they celebrate every 5th of November by letting off Guy Fawkes to symbolise what he didn't manage to accomplish. And
well, Guy Fawkes is anonymous. He wears that mask, Guy Fawkes mask.
Oh.
You know, it's white mask. Do you guys wear white masks?
No. I suppose it has connotations of its own, but yeah, the Guy Fawkes character was hung, drawn, and quartered like they did in the old days. Set an example of. He was a Catholic. He wanted to overthrow the Protestants. You know, the royalty in England. But yeah, bit of history. I suppose it's like Halloween. We acknowledge and celebrate Halloween a lot more in New Zealand now that we had a few days ago, and in the past, when I was young, nobody even talked about Halloween. It didn't make mention at all.
If I give you the lottery numbers when they draw them, can you play them over there?
You need a time machine for that one. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see a time machine.
Well, it's tomorrow there.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. But
or you get me the numbers and I'll play them. That way it'll be you're ahead of me, so you get the numbers and I can play them here when they draw.
I think it only really works with stock markets because we open a day early, and I think there's something there that works in our favour because our markets open a day early compared to we're 4 hours ahead of Australia and 18 hours ahead of America. So our stock, if there's an indication of something's crashing or doing badly, then you can tell from the New Zealand market or other markets that are ahead what's happening. It gives an indication.
Well, you're down by Australia, aren't you?
Yeah. We're about 1,000 miles from Australia, though.
Hey, we've got an aeromodeling question coming in from Jack Snavely on YouTube, and he's wanting to know the weight and line size rules, at least for the AMA, for instance, 0.015, 0.012, 0.018 lines are the 3 most common used, and I forget the
ounces, you can use 15 thousandths, and then 64 ounces and up, it has to be 18 thousandths.
Okay, 64 up, 18 thousandths, under 64, 15 thousandths. And there's a 12 thousandths also, which I never used, which is down in near 30 something ounces, right?
Yeah, I can't remember where the break is. But
Jack, if you're a member, if you've got an AMA number, a member of the AMA, you can find it under documents, control line rules on the AMA, the modelaircraft.org website. if I get a chance, I'll look it up tonight while we're on here. I'll put it in a folder because that's where I read up on my judging rules before contests. I have to reread the judging rules every time I think I'm going to judge, just to make sure if somebody contests it, I can answer the question as opposed to turning it over to Dave or Wayne or somebody like that.
So you wouldn't want to build a 65-ounce model, or if you did, you'd be finding lighter wheels or chopping bits off and doing something drastic.
Well, that's what I was talking about. I wish I was 2 ounces lighter on this, because then I could go with some more clear on it. But I'm at 62 ounces now, and when I put clear on the flaps to seal these and the little bits that I put on, it'll be 62.5 ounces, and you really don't want to get close to that 64.
Yeah.
No, because the scales vary when you go to contests. You never know what they might have brought to weigh your planes in with.
They do tend to put on weight with fuel soakage over time. I find you normally gain maybe an ounce over 10 years of fuel soakage, but it does definitely build up where it's got into all the little openings.
It better not get no fuel soakage.
I'll clean it off well after each flight, yeah. I've certainly
I'm sure there's no, I don't know if there's any way to keep it out 100%, but I do my best. I usually, any hole I drill or anything, I fill with a toothpick. I put urethane inside of all of those screw holes and any place that it might conceivably be able to penetrate, and little square corners like the fuel compartment cutout on my profiles or something like that. So
the inside of my airplane is finished just as good as the outside.
yeah, I remember that, and that's a good practice. That's where it secretly happens in the dark of night when nobody's looking. It's castor oils just creeping in, and synthetics are probably worse about creeping in than castor oil too, because they all have low
inside of the room was all finished with Z-epoxy, and then sanded, and then primed, and then painted and cleared. So it's not as shiny as this inside, but if you look at the inside of my airplane, it's smooth and slick and painted inside. Yeah. Same with the pipe tunnel, all the way down the pipe tunnel is painted.
Yeah. Well, it only takes the sliders opening on a scale model. I had a little hatch to change my battery for the speed control, the 2.4 gigahertz speed control for a scale model, and I thought it was all nicely sealed up, and then I operated on it and it was all full with oil. The whole rib bay was all full with oil, and I just thought, well, if you have any sort of hatch, have it nowhere near the exhaust. That was the lesson from that. Because, what appears to be a good seal just isn't even. That was only after about a dozen flights. It had a whole lot of fuel ingress.
My Super Satan's got a big discolored stain on one of the wings from where the bladder burst one time, and he cleaned it out. Tom cleaned it out the best he could, but he couldn't get all of the evidence out. You can still tell there was some wet fuel that got in there. And Minnesota Mike's asking about the Wix logo on Sparky's plane, and he wants to know if that's for the oil filters. I know.
No, the dope Wix aircraft.
Oh, oil filter was the first thing that popped into my mind too, because that's just what I'm familiar with.
Yeah, Wix aircraft in it's Highland, Illinois, right across the river from St. Louis. They used to be a sponsor on Stunthangar, but they aren't anymore.
I've seen Bardol on a couple of notable airplanes, black and yellow checkered Mustang for one. What does Bardol make?
Oil additives.
Hello, Bob Bishop. He's just checking in. Sounds like he's going to have to run in just a second, but he'll be in and out as his business dictates.
I put Shell on here because I just wanted to get some yellow on the airplane, and I use Shell gas.
Yeah, that's my choice of gas too.
They use less ethanol, so you get a better product.
Mm.
Everybody wants to add ethanol, but it's less efficient. Doesn't put out the BTUs, and
Yeah, that's right. Your horsepower drops as the ethanol rises.
gas mileage goes to shit too.
Yeah, well, you've got corrosion happening because the ethanol absorbs water, so it's not good for your carb if you're running an old carb or your gas tank too.
Well, they used to use lead as anti-knock. Well, the goody two shoes or whatever found out that lead is bad for you, so they went to ethanol to get it to not knock. Well, the efficiency goes way down as the ethanol content goes up. Now they're talking about using 15% ethanol.
Oh, no. Back in the old leaded gas days, Amoco used to use something else in their white gas formula, which was their 93 octane. Was that nickel, or what? Did it have? Was it lead free, that white gas?
I have no clue.
I don't either. I just remember it was white and it looked different and it ran well.
Well, that's because white gas is kerosene.
Yeah.
What about the red color of gasoline? Is that just a dye?
That's a dye, yeah. So you don't drink it.
Yeah.
Like you're going to drink gas.
I'd be so tempted to drink it if it wasn't red. So
they don't use that anymore. They don't use that dye anymore, though.
Yeah, that's right. They don't do that.
Yeah, well, they've got the dye in our methanol fuel to stop people drinking it, but it tends to discolor the finish on some models I've found.
When I was in the Navy, the GSE gear, ground support equipment, all the guys used to fill their tanks up at the pumps, at the hangar for ground support. Well, they got wise to that and they put purple dye in it. And what it did was it would dye your carburetor purple. And when you go out through the gate, the guard would pull you over and do a quick and take the air cleaner off and see you got a purple carb. And you got a purple carb, you're in big trouble.
The worst running fuel I've ever used in an automobile was Gulf. And it always made my carburetors red inside. And I never knew what that reddish leftover was. It was kind of resiny, but I never knew. I just knew the Gulf was the only gas that left that color, and it ran like crap in my hot rod engines.
I thought the red leftover was from the lead in the era, but I noticed some fuels would leave a red residue in the carb as well.
Yeah,
it would be a gummy red residue.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a reddish coloring in carburetors, but never as pronounced as it was with the Gulf gasoline.
Have you ever been to the Nats, Rusty?
No, I never have.
Well, there's one Shell station on McGalliard next to the motels that if you fill up there, you'll get 5 miles to the gallon more. So I always fill up at that one gas station on the way to the field on McGalliard.
Does it cost more?
Same price.
I mean, leaded gas.
I don't think it's leaded, but it has less ethanol in it.
Yeah.
You get 5 miles a gallon more.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
All right, back home, huh, Sparky?
Yeah, for a few days.
Must feel nice, huh?
I don't know. I like it over there in Dayton.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah. Want to go flying.
Is your place in Dayton within good, quick walking distance of places to eat and that sort of thing? Go shoot pool or whatever?
No. No, but I'm only 4 miles from the flying field.
Yeah.
Here in St. Louis, I'm 25 miles from the flying field.
Dayton's a nice town. It really is. How far is the Dayton airport out of Dayton, Sparky?
Beats me. I don't know. Never been there.
Oh, you never been there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. We used to go into town, but I don't know if we really got downtown, but everything else around there was real nice. But
I go to work and home 5 days a week, and then on Saturday, Sunday, I go from my house to John's house, and then from John's to home. So I don't go anywhere really. Go flying, and I've been to the Dayton Museum. We go to they got a great hobby shop there. It's called Radical RC. I did a little video on it. It's in the.
yeah.
It's a great hobby shop. They got a lot of shit in there.
Yeah.
They still make motors in Dayton, electric motors.
I have no clue. I know all the glass for all your cars comes from Hung Lu Glass Company in Dayton, or whatever the name of that place is. Chinese-owned glass factory.
Yeah, anymore they're just about all automated. A friend of mine that he does ammonia refrigeration, but he went back working for an ammonia company out of Florida, and he went to Kansas, and there's some big glass factory there, and he said that there's only a handful of employees in the whole thing, that it's so automated that the sand comes in and they melt it, they make the glass, and it actually loads the trucks. And their biggest crew is maintenance people. And those people that work there is maintenance and keeping all the machinery going, robots and all that kind of stuff.
I got a phone call. Weenie Man, what's up?
Oh.
It sparkles.
So you get any flying in this weekend, Gerald?
I'm doing
Yeah.
good. Gonna vote for Pascal.
Windy though, very, very windy. So we just flew combat models because it was so windy. And it was blowing about 20 knots. It was just really gusting.
Yeah.
We wanted to test out some other models. I pulled out an old combat model that I wanted to test fly. It was an old one from the 80s. I put a Fox.
About 5 hours.
And the model that I've been given, I gave it a test fly as well. But a lot of it's just really for the kids to have a bash at. I'll grab it. There's a little. There's a little LA-15 on it, just a little muckabout model. We flew that one as well. Even though it was blowing 20 knots, it coped with the wind well. I was surprised the power of well, it's not an LA, it's an FP-15, but dainty little motor, those things.
It's like a tough little bird.
Yeah, it was quite nice to fly. I was surprised for such a little model that it coped well with the wind. And yeah, it's got no undercarriage on it, but I thought we were given it, so I just thought I've got an old FP-15 lying around. I'll chuck it on and see how it goes. But the big mistake I made was I didn't flush the tank beforehand. Always flush your tank when you're given a model, and that was crap.
You never know how long it's been sitting and what's built up, what kind of muck.
Yeah, the first lot was okay.
Used high caster. I used a 29% caster in my Fox 35 powered Yak 9, and then lent somebody that gas tank, and it had only been 6 or not even that long. I was going to say 6 months, probably 3 or 4 months, and the tubes were plugged up. Nothing would. He had to get a piece of wire and punch out all the tubes because that goo had plugged them all up.
This model
brake parts cleaner though. I spray that in there and shake it up and let it sit for a while, and then blow it out and blow it again with brake parts cleaner and let it dry out, and then maybe a little fuel just to wet it. Some people store their tanks with fuel in them. I've never been wild about that idea, but that's one way to preserve them from getting rust, as long as they're sealed up.
Yeah, it would have to be completely full with no air in there before you'd store fuel in it.
Yeah, no air. It would have to be lipping full and then capped off on all three tubes, or however many tubes it's got.
Yeah. Well, this model, it flew for the first flight, it was okay, and then it softened all the goo up. Second flight, it was just full of goo, and then I just looked in the fuel line, and you could just see all these little lumps, and then I tried flushing it out, and I flushed it a couple of times, and I put a filter in there, but the filter just clogged after maybe 20 laps or so. The filter was clogged, so I'll have to give it a good thorough flushing out. I've got plenty of stale methanol I can use to do that anyway.
Just, yeah, put it in a jar and soak it. That's a lot of times what I do. Just put the methanol, you know, put some in that, or shit, I can't even think now. Acetone.
Yep.
Acetone's my favorite solvent of all, yeah, because it's relatively safe too, unlike ethanol. You can get acetone all over your hands, and other than drying your skin out, it won't really hurt you. But you go messing with ethanol, too much skin exposure will hurt you over a period of time.
But I just got an old jelly jar and cleaned it all out and stuff, and then fill it with acetone and put a tank down in there, and you know, get all the bubbles out of it and shit. It'll sink down in, and
I've got a cat on top of me, one cat on top of me, and another's just joined, and they're starting to get annoyed with each other. So kids have let all these cats in. We've got 5 cats, and they've all come in to see me in the modeling room. So
we got 2. I always try to make sure they're outside when I start doing the show, because they like to climb on me. But tonight they're both inside sleeping, so as long as they don't bother me, they can stay in.
Yeah, well, I'll be back in a minute.
Right. Yeah, they just want a little affection and stuff.
Yeah, a lot.
They catch you when you're not moving around and stuff like that. They're like, wow, hey, look at that.
Yeah, nice, warm, fuzzy thing to lay on.
Yeah.
You know, they always say that the cats in the old folks' home can predict who's going to die. And I learned from watching House on TV, that doctor show, that it is more likely that they are running a fever right before they die. Is why the cat picks them to lay on.
Oh, I see.
Their metabolism's gone to hell.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch House?
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah.
So have you found out any more about when you go in, or?
Tomorrow is my pre-op appointment. The schedule is right now for the 21st, and it has been, but we don't know any more about what times and all of that sort of stuff. Hey, Jamie, you can click your mic on whenever you want to.
Well, good. Well, Lisa's coming up here pretty soon, and you'll get her done. And
it's coming. If I survive till the 21st, I'll be all right. I've had some scary almost falls, and if I can keep avoiding and just keep them scary and not real, then I'll be all right. Catch a cold, God forbid I should catch a cold or the flu or something. I do have a child's birthday party to go to between now and then.
Yeah, just be careful.
Yeah, I've already, you know, with my other medical background, I have pretty much gotten in the habit of not touching my face with my hands at all. If I've shaken anybody's hand, or unless I remember the last time I washed and what happened in between, you know. So I'm good at avoiding colds, but goddamn, you know, the flu, you can't avoid that by keeping your pockets, because it floats through the air on people's droplets of whatever they breathe and cough out. I got my flu shot, but that's not all that reassuring. But anyway, I'll hang it. I'll be all right. I've got the world's toughest immune system, so I got that on my side. I heal fast and hardly ever catch anything. So I'm I'm going to remain confident and vigilant, and we're going to get this thing done. But tomorrow is my pre-op appointment. So.
Okay, we'll find out how you're doing on Friday then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jamie, what happened to your airplane? I know, you know. It's
Go bye-bye.
But what actually happened to make it do that?
I came out of reverse wing over a little low and pretty quick, and going against the wind at a little downward angle, and it happened so fast. I was too wobbly out the reverse wing over and bop.
Was this the new plane?
No, it was a twister.
Oh, man. What broke on it?
Well,
looks like the rudder and stuff got
the rudder.
I hope that's not the biggest piece left.
That's the biggest piece of the rudder. My nice sweet tank that I love so much. You can see. Let me see. Right there above the solder joint.
Yeah.
Let me give it that. Let me see
Did it
that.
crack it?
There.
Oh,
Actually, that's a rip in the tank. So at least I know I could solder good. I know my solder
you
joint.
can patch it. You might want to patch a little piece of
Yeah,
tin.
I don't know if you have any Stay Bright with silver in it. If you have any Stay Bright, you can put that on there. Silver solder will actually take vibration and stuff and not re-crack. We use that in refrigeration all the time.
If you're lazy like me and you just want a quick repair, clean it with some JB weld. That'll hold it for a while.
Oh yeah, that's true too. I didn't think about that.
I mean, there's my prop.
Oh, no.
We were hard to come by. You don't want to break them props.
Hmm.
I mean, Randy Smith got a ton of them.
Oh, the Magnum props, Thunder Tiger props.
The Thunder Tiger 11.5. He's cheaper than Brodak, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's good.
Brodak wants about $8. He takes 5.5.
Yeah, I want to try and get some of those nice Cavan props from SIG. They've got those nice nylon, the yellow or blue nylon props that are great for the boys, so they can pancake their turns or plant them and do everything to them. But the nylon ones, when they get old, get brittle, so it'd be just nice to have a batch of some new nylon props.
Is Cavan, are they still in business?
Yeah, I think SIG have got something to do with them. If you go onto the Cavan website and it shows all these ads for SIG planes on the German website. So I think they must be hooked up with SIG now. But it appears they're producing a good range of sizes. That's for the trainer style props. 7.4 up to like 10.6, that size.
They bought SIG for a while.
Oh, so
it was a deal to where I believe the SIG daughter there, well, it wasn't SIG, it was Hester, or that was his name, Sammy. He married Glenn's wife there, Hazel, after he died. They had a daughter, and she married the son of Cavan or whatever. It was all hooked together and bought out, and then bought out again, and then finally bought out. So I'm not sure how all it works, but it was like that. Somehow that Hair, H-E-R-R or whatever, they were nice little small airplanes. They did a beautiful job on them things. They were hooked in with SIG at one time too. Bought them out and sold them off or something.
Hey, let me tell y'all something. This came up on YouTube related to the tank that Jamie's was showing us, and somebody, let's see, Terry said, use a roll sonic toothbrush to vibrate the jar's fluid to sonically clean the tank and let it run overnight, and it comes out really clean. Well, nowadays they make disposable electric toothbrushes that have one, actually it's accessible AAA battery in it, or it looks AAA to me, but I'm thinking take, you could take several of those that you've worn out the bristles on in the bathroom sink brushing your teeth. Well, you know, affix them together, and then take a D cell or bigger, however much you want to go, but 1.5 volts in parallel, and hook it up to that, and you could use that as a portable agitator to drop down into a jar or whatever kind of container you wanted to put your solvent in and whatever parts you want to clean, and that would be, that's great. I've worn out my first one of those. They cost, I think, $9 for a pair of the two of those little electric toothbrushes, and rather than throwing them away, I've been saving them. So once I get a third one, I'm gonna glue them back to back and just leave the bristles on them, but you know, affix a cord so I can plug it into a D cell or even more, and makes a good ultrasonic cleaner. Oh, I don't know about ultrasonic, but a sonic cleaner.
Yeah, if you get around Harbor Freight, they have a little ultrasonic jewelry cleaner, and I think that thing's under $10. And I thought about that because it comes with like a bowl thing there, just to take a jar and set it inside that bowl and let it.
Ultrasonic. See, I guess ultrasonic implies that it's over 20 kilohertz, right? Because what is our range of hearing? 6 to 16 kilohertz or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was vibration, but yeah, I didn't think about it actually being a noise.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's sonic and there's ultrasonic. So I assume sonic would be within our range of hearing. Ultrasonic would be higher pitched than our range of hearing, which would have probably a more active, depending on what you're trying to clean. You know, a super high frequency might be more effective than a lower frequency. So, I don't know. I'm just blabbing, but it seems like a good idea to me. Terry says just add a thin plastic paddle you can cut from any thin package, and forced in slit cut by a razor saw. Anyway, but yeah, you could make agitators out of you know, experiment with different things for agitators, either the original toothbrushes bristles, or make a little paddle like Terry's suggesting there.
Well, yeah, if you made a little paddle, you could actually stir up dope with it.
Yeah, or you could chop up dope when it comes in a brick. Never mind.
Or you can just spend $10 from Badger and get this thing.
Oh, the little mixer.
Yeah. I've been having the same AA batteries in here for the last 4 years.
Okay.
I couldn't get you to click up. Now I got you. Let me see it again, Jamie, before you put it away. Okay. And
It's amazing Badger.
Okay.
Spinning action drives your wife nuts.
The vaginator. All right.
There you go. What vaginator?
Terry says sound waves shake apart gum and solids.
Yeah.
Work I used to work with, we were drawing maps, and we had those ink pens, and the ink would dry on the pen, and we used the ultrasonic cleaner to clean out the pen parts just to get all the dried ink out of the pen so you can get them going again. But no, that's a long time ago now. Drawing maps.
Rusty, I did some good things last week.
You what?
I bought some overhaul tank kits for my little 049s.
Oh, neat.
Boy, you sure did.
You
And
You get them.
and a little bag of Milo Reeds.
Yeah.
reeds, yep, that's good stuff.
Yeah, those Teflon reeds are the best ones. They do get misshapen after a while, but when they are new, they do run the best.
The old brass ones would get brittle and crack over time. I remember that.
The steel ones, they not only get dome shaped, but they also beat the anodizing off the face of the inlet. If you've got like a Black Widow or something.
This is for mini video.
American.
You had a Black Widow on the mini voodoo, didn't you?
Say it again, Gerald.
Jamie had I think it was a Black Widow that you were using on the little miniature voodoo or a mini station. I can't remember.
The the combat kitten has the that Black Widow.
Yep. Did you get a chance to test it out?
I got a nice little yonk inside from a plane falling on it.
Oh, battle scar. I thought it was a combat scar.
Yeah. I'll just, put a little dab of epoxy and it'll be all right. Just to fill that in.
Yeah,
Now I got
throw a little piece of tape over it.
or that, yeah. Oh man. Everything's flying everywhere.
You had a chance to have a combat with your father. I think you said you were going to build a models for both he and you to have a combat with.
Yeah, the little Satan, in which that was the only day the Black Widow wouldn't fire up. So I just didn't clean the tank good enough or to read. And had them little overhaul kits from the eBay from Cox. And that way I could change out all the insides of the tanks and be all like new spring, new frickin' little fuel tubing, new gaskets. Yeah.
They're very susceptible to dirt, aren't they? So everything's spotless.
I crashed Saturday, and what really sucked, it was my first official flight of the day.
Oh no.
What a way to go right after the right into it. But
you got to touch up your airplane, Sparky, or is that for the other one that you had to fix?
What?
As you're putting your gut back together there. Is that
I painted some stuff on this today. The Gulf sticker, the wicks, the Motel 6, and the Stunthangar.
Oh, okay. Did you get your other one fixed?
Oh yeah. Can't tell.
Oh, that's good.
That's why I didn't want to Doran wanted to slap some fiberglass on it. I'd have never got it fixed if I'd have put a big booger on it.
Yeah, I think he was more in the line of thinking of getting it back into the contest before it was too late. But yeah, that wasn't worth the sacrifice on that plane.
So what's with the Motel 6? Is that on some airplane or something, or?
This airplane was built in Motel 6.
Oh.
I built the elevator stabilizer fuselage at Motel 6. Finished it up in my little apartment. So maybe when I'm on the road, if I show them that and tell them the story, they'll give me a discount.
Really?
Promo.
Yeah, we used to have a lot of Motel 6s around here, and now they've all changed. They call them something else now.
Yeah, got them down here.
Well, they used to be $6, but you ain't gonna see that no more.
Mm-mm.
Motel $60 maybe.
Down here, 30. No, where one of them's at, it's $35. And you're getting $35.
Yeah, Motel 6. We had one by the, well, 2 expressways. They weren't too far from the expressways there in town, and some guy went on a rampage and killed one guy and was attacking other ones with knives and shit. And next thing you know, that there's no Motel 6s. So I don't know if they got sued really bad or whatever, and they sold out, or I think they're called America's Best now.
American Suites.
No,
Ameribest. That's it, Ameribest.
they might be there, but there are Motel 6s still.
Yeah.
Because I stayed in a Motel 6 when I started there. This was built Motel 6, this fuselage sides. And the wing was built in my apartment because I switched up and then put together, lined it up at John's house and painted at John's house.
Now, at least you have a place you can paint and everything like that, so it works out pretty good for you for all your stuff.
Even though, you know, it's John's shop, I don't know where everything's at. You know, I kind of feel out of place. You know, it's not my stuff. You know, there's no way I can make any headway, you know, real time there. Here, I know where everything's at. I just go over there, grab it, put it together. I don't care about spraying inside. If it smells the house up, so what? he paints out in the garage. You gotta take down some things that turn, you know. But you know, I'm grateful that he lets me use his shop. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the same as here.
Oh yeah, you're right though. You gotta respect the dude's stuff. Though. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's why there's no place like home, no matter what, you know.
He's got the best building table I've ever worked on.
Yeah.
It's a about 5 foot square, 5 foot by 5 foot, with a 3/8 piece of glass on top of it. It's great. This one here is 5 foot long by 3 foot wide, I think. I can't remember what it is. Yeah, I think it's 3 foot wide, 3 by 5, or is it 3 by 6?
Yeah, I got mine from Harbor Freight. It's a woodworking table, but it's like 6 foot by 3 foot, or not even 3 foot. I don't know, maybe 2.5 feet or whatever. You do a wing, you do a fuselage on it and stuff, but I can walk around it because my back or my hips hurt so bad I can't bend way in.
This is 30 inches by 6 foot long. His is 5 foot square. And I took my airplane over. I built all the parts. You know, like I said, I built the fuselage in Motel 6 and the elevators and stabilizer in the Motel 6. Built the wing in my apartment. When I got all the parts together and I kind of mocked it up, I just took it over to his house, and then one day we put it upside down on his table, and I did a video on it.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it.
You know, he's got some height gauges that are kind of cool. We jigged it up, glued it together. We even, matter of fact, you guys didn't even know that I should have took a video of this. I built this fuselage wrong. The stabilizer was the same as the other airplane. So I had the airplane all together after, you know, we jigged it up, put it together, I had the top block, it was all together, ready to start finishing. And I got to looking at it, and I measured between here and there, and it was an inch too short. So I cut the top block off and moved this stab and elevator back an inch. So lengthened it up an inch, and did that one day over his place.
Yeah, you showed us where you were going to cut it off, and then when you went the next week or whatever, one day or whatever, you had it all back together and patched all in and everything.
Most guys would have let it go, but this wouldn't fly as good as it did as it does if I wouldn't have done that.
So did it balance out pretty good then by the 1 inch?
I could move it back some more. This airplane balance is pretty far forward still. It's either move it back some more on the next one or put more paint on it, and I don't want to be over that 64 ounce mark. So the next one will probably go another 1/2 inch back.
No way you can shorten the nose up just a hair on the other one?
Well,
That'd be a pain in the ass.
you mean
Well,
on the next one?
I mean, the next one he builds, if he couldn't.
Well, there's kind of a problem with that. Could I shorten the nose up? Yeah, I could. I could probably take 1 inch off of it. But they don't track as well with a short nose. And that if you shorten the nose up too, you're kind of limited. I mean, you got to be super careful on the finish, or else it will be tail heavy. Here I can adjust. Yeah, I already put a lighter tail wheel on it, and I put lighter landing gear. You know, just kind of move stuff around.
I suppose, Steve, coming from an electric perspective, you've got the liberty of being able to move your heavy components easier. As a blow motor, you're more locked in there, I suppose.
Well, the fuel tank is almost touching the bell crank on this. There's a notch in the wing, and the fuel tank is sucked back all the way to the bell crank. You know,
Yeah.
I have a 3/4 inch extension on that, so in all, you know, purposes, the nose is 3/4 of an inch shorter than this. I have the unobtainium spinner on it, which weighs 7 grams, so I don't have that big 1.5 ounce Randy Smith spinner on there. So just to get the 10 ounces off that I want, I'm gonna have to leave some parts off. Build an airplane without a spinner, molded. Gotta leave shit off.
Yeah.
This wing started out 5 ounces, and John says, I don't understand how the airplane, if you got a 5 ounce wing and a 6 ounce fuselage and a 3 ounce stab, how does it come out 60 ounces? Well, this paint is heavy.
Yeah.
This finish was 7 ounces because I screwed up.
With the ringmasters me and my sons made, my one that had just had a doped wing. The other ones had paint on their wings. Their ones came out 2 ounces heavier, even though I went for a heavier engine. I had a 45 and they had used 35s on their models. Mine was still lighter, and the only real difference was I just had clear dope on my wings on a patterned finish, and these had the heavier painted finish, and it made all the difference in the final weight because the wing's just so much paint. It's just a big ball full of paint. So, yeah.
I get a kick out of them guys talk about, well, I put urethane on it, only add 1.5 ounces. You're ass. I mean, there's a lot of area here. It adds 3 ounces.
Yeah.
And nothing gases off.
Yeah, the only other thing you could do would be to change your paint scheme to where the fuselage and most of the wing and stuff was the red or the blue, because white is the heaviest paint there is.
Negative. You know, you can. John's probably watching this, but he doesn't come in. White is the heaviest if you use Brodak dope, but if you use Randolph, this is 1 coat of paint. That's all it is 1 coat of paint.
That's incredible. I think you need like 3 or 4 coats of white to cover like that.
No.
What it is just the pigment is so much. The pigment on white with titanium dioxide is 3 or 4 times heavier than pigment of blue and red. You know, it was like when we made up paint, it was like we added 8,000 or 9,000 pounds to make white, and it might only be 2,000 pounds to make a blue, just because the pigment is that much lighter. So you get that out of the, you know, what it covers, then it's just you can't make white any lighter just for the reason that the titanium dioxide is so heavy.
I'll go along with that. But what I was getting at is, you know, these guys are using Brodak dope. John, like I say, is probably watching, but I've got him convinced. Brodak dope, you couldn't get it this white with a quart, where I did it with a 1/2 pint. half pint, not a pint, half pint. But because I don't know, they thin it down so much, or that's why you watch the Windy videos. He's decanting his Brodak dope, which decanting is no good because it takes away the vehicle and you end up with chalk. the paint becomes real chalky and it won't stick.
Well, the one thing is that the Randolph may come through a different kind of mill, and the finer you grind the pigment, the better the coverage and the less pigment you need.
Randolph dope is Brodak dope.
Yeah.
Randolph makes Brodak dope. Randolph makes certified. Randolph makes all the dope in this country. They're the only dope manufacturers anymore.
Because they must be making it to different grades for full-size aircraft versus models. The models must get something inferior, perhaps, than what the full-size aircrafts are getting.
I still got them 2 quarts of Aerogloss. I wish I could find some thinner.
Hey, I know where they got a pint of thinner.
A pint? Well, that ain't enough.
Hey, wait, if you want to use a pint of Aerogloss, it is.
Aerogloss thinner is primarily MEK, but I don't know what else was in it.
I also got a quart of hobby epoxy thinner. Matter of fact, I need to take that back to Dick, the guy in. Yeah, I'll take that to him. I forgot about that. I got a quart of hobby epoxy stuff I'll never use.
So Steve, how about metallics? Is a silver with its metal flake, or a gold heavier as well with the metal flake in it?
Oh yeah, yeah. But it depends on how much you put in. If it's, and there's different kind of metal flake that weighs different weight too. I mean, we'd get like a 5-gallon bucket full of metallic paste. And oh yeah,
there's a blast from the past. That's a full quart of hobby epoxy thinner. I got the hobby epoxy paint too.
But
Now, I'm not even familiar with that. That's before my time, I guess.
$7.25 is what the price is on this can. This can would probably be about $40 now.
yeah, that bucket of metal flake was so heavy you couldn't even pick it up with a bail on the bucket. You had to use. We had a special little 2-wheeler that was on an angle. You could pick it up and slide it up on that, and you had to move it around with a 2-wheeler because it was like having a 5-gallon bucket of lead.
So the lightest finish would be like a camo finish where you had dark green and dark grey, and together those colours that will cover very easily and very little gloss to it.
Yeah.
Won't be pretty, but it'll be light.
But a lot of these new metal flakes are plastic.
You mean like aluminized mylar or something like that?
Yeah, it's super thin stuff, and yeah, it's not actually the metal anymore because some of the metals were so damn dangerous.
Oh.
To make them shine. They had lead in them and everything else, whatever they made that metal flake. But yeah, some of it's plastic. At the end there, before they closed down, they were testing some of the new metal flakes, and they were some kind of a super thin, super small pieces of plastic, and I don't know how they made them, but usually that kind of metal flake is where you see the blue and the red and stuff in the metal flake. Wasn't a true silver. They were kind of cool when you looked at them because
those silvery looking emergency blankets. Hang on, let me let Steve McBride in. That come in first aid and car emergency kits and stuff like that. That's like Mylar, but it's silver as hell. And I always wondered if that was an aluminum coating or some other kind of metal. I'm trying to get you in, Stephen. Hang on, let me keep trying. My controls are jumpy. Okay, come on. Show and broadcast. Oh, come on, dang it.
You just don't like him. Admit it.
I'm on my 5th try now. Show and broadcast. Okay,
The
I got
internet.
another thing I'll try. Let me go over to my control panel.
You're screwed, Steve.
My camera guy. All right, hang on. It ought to work this time.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
There we go.
All right, now I gotta reblock everybody that's incoming. Okay. If that happens again, I'll just have to do it the hard way. Welcome, Steve. How you doing tonight?
Hey,
Steve?
Rusty, doing good.
Good. It's not much happening. We're just kind of chilling out and talking about airplanes, building materials, dope, and all that kind of stuff.
Paint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monkey's airplane there. That's nice. Really pretty.
yeah, it's really pretty. You did a good job on it. But yeah, the stuff that Guardsman never could make was John Deere green. They never got the formula right, or never could get the right color, because the original John Deere green was green pigment with just a ton of lead. And once they got rid of the lead, they had to use other metals and stuff to get the look of it, which they never really did. But people just don't realize it anymore. It's been so long, but it's still pretty close. But it's so expensive to make. That's why they paint their big equipment yellow.
What? Yeah.
Let's see that again, Gerald.
Yeah.
Okay, just for you. Enjoy it.
This is a
Was it a mall job?
That's too close.
this one here is one they recommend for model planes. It's got the little plane on the jar, but it's an acrylic enamel, and it's expensive. But I managed to get a metal flake version of it, and it's got a beautiful metal flake to it.
Cool.
You probably couldn't see it in the camera, but it is a very nice, a very rich metal flake. I wonder if it is.
It's probably Mylar flakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably it could probably be plastic.
Terry's last post was Mylar flakes and acrylic paints.
Yeah.
Well, since they took the lead out, I don't know, you guys probably never done any sign painting, but these are Kafka liners and lettering brushes, real expensive brushes. And you use one-shot sign painter's paint. Well, I've taken the lead out, and you can't look. See how long the bristle is on this?
Oh,
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they use that on striping on cars and motorcycles and stuff too.
No, this is not a striping brush. This is a lettering brush. I have striping brushes, but this is this is a liner, and the other one is a stroke brush.
Sometimes I get brushes and it's like they've glued all of the bristles together. Is that for really fine work?
No, that's the sizing. You're supposed to take it thinner and wash it out.
That's what I did. But yeah, okay. I was wondering if it was supposed to be like that when you used it. So
No, I use motor oil on my brushes when I store them. These brushes are about $25 a piece.
holy shit.
Come on out of there. Yeah, there we go. I put motor oil on them to keep them. This is a striping brush here.
Hey, Stephen McBride, did you just ask a question on YouTube? Yeah, that's a thicker. Yeah, the same thing.
I asked a question my father might have. I know he's on. But
You used to do sign painting, Sparky?
Yes, I did. I worked for Negley Outdoor Advertising and Imperial Valley Sign in my younger days.
Sparky, what color blue is that on the canopy?
On the canopy,
Yeah.
that's my blue. I mixed it up.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's nice.
That blue on the Motel 6 is a mixed up color I made. I just look at a color and add it, you know, make it I want it.
What'd you use? What'd you use to mix it? What
Just
color?
some white, insignia blue, and a little red, a little green.
Oh.
Seems like half of what I say lately starts with Terry says, but he says that there's more shades of green in nature than any other color. I think he typed that back when we were talking about the John Deere. More shades of green than any other color.
Yeah. John,
any
Deere.
color, including John Deere green, can be matched with a machine called the Prophet. And they take that Prophet and they sit it over there and shoot the laser at it, and it gives you the code what to mix in it.
Yeah.
It costs 10 grand for that machine.
Well, John Deere green's not that clear from the John Deere dealer. I know when I've gone and bought their paint, they have a fast drying enamel, and it's neat paint, but you wouldn't want to use it on your planes. But it dries so fast and it's very durable.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, the body men, when they used lacquer and acrylic enamels and stuff like that, they didn't, before the Prophet, you had to be pretty good at mixing colors. You know, let's say that you had a repair on a fender or whatever, and the sun had faded the color out, if it was metallic green or whatever, a good body man could mix his paint to match.
Yeah.
And that was a real art to do.
Yeah, most people don't see color well. We had a test at work that you had to take, and I don't know, some lab or something made it up, and you had to go and they have a chip, and then you had to find another chip that matched it or the closest to it. And when I took mine, I could see color like 96% better than most people, but it really screwed me up because everything never matched to me. That if you get a guy that's around 90%, he was like the best color matcher because he's better than what other people can see, but he could get it to where he wasn't messing with it all the time.
Yeah. I always
take a little brush and a dot of paint and dot it onto where you want to match, and if it doesn't disappear, it ain't right.
Hey, yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
The other thing is that, and it's really weird, but if you have two colors next to each other and you take and make like a little funnel just so your eyeball can look through it, if you look through one and then move to the other, you can see the difference in color a lot better. It was a trick that one of the old color matchers at work did, and he was like the best at it. But you know, he's going to do that, make just a little thing, just barely move through it and move from one to another, and he could pick up. He was showing us, and it's like, wow, it's hard to believe that it actually works. You think it's stupid.
You could put a pinhole in an index card and do that.
Yeah.
At work, I fill in for the body man when he goes on vacation or when he doesn't show up or whatever, and I paint over there, and we have a mixing station. And all those formulas are done by weight, as you probably know.
Yeah.
And they give you a formula, so many grams of this color and so many grams of that color, so on and so forth. Well, if you're off by 1 gram, it changes the color. So if you gotta have 5 gallon of paint or whatever, you mix all these paints by the formula. By the time you're done, you better mix all them paints into one vat of color, or you'll have one fender one color and another door another color.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's, you know, when I worked at Guardsman, I seen guys start out with a 400-gallon batch. The next thing you know, it's a 2,000-gallon batch, trying to kill color because they put in a little bit too much blue or something in the white, and they weighed wrong. Instead of 3 ounces, they put in 6 ounces, or they mixed up, 6 and 4. It should have been 4 red and 6 of blue, and they reversed them. Oh, to kill color. It was just crazy. And you can add different colors to, if you want to kill yellow, it's purple, kill yellow. But then it's called metameric. Under different lights, it'll all look different colors.
When I mixed this blue up today,
Trey and Doran just joined us.
I mixed this blue up here for the Motel 6. That was probably half white. And
Hold it up higher, Sparky.
That was about half white right to there, and about, I don't know, 10 drops
of blue,
of insignia blue, to get that shade of blue for that insignia.
Just a half a drop. That's.
It don't take. If you start with blue and try to add white, you'd have to add a gallon of white to make it that color.
You soon learn that when you start mixing paints, it's like trying to make up camo paint for a model where you're using non-standard colors, and then you crash it, and then you've got to remix the same paint again. It's so challenging. And then
Wendy has a video on that too. If you're gonna mix a special color for a paint for an airplane, you better save some of it for a repair.
Yeah. How you doing tonight, Trey?
Good. Just nice and peaceful here. I was
there. We were talking about your airplane. They were saying that how stiff they thought the carbon fuselage was in the wings. Isn't it squishy? Pretty soft.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't much structure there.
I was under the impression it was rigid.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Does it feel?
It's not much over there. I mean, but the fuselage, believe me, it's not bending in under flight loads.
Not under flight load. Just when you squish it, you can tell there's nothing inside it. It's
Oh yeah.
When you apply pressure with your hand, you can feel it. You can feel it give.
Oh yeah.
Well, think about this. Some of the materials I put, for example, for the fuselage spar, it's only 0.004 of an inch thick, but the carbon, it's almost 500 times stronger than the balsa wood. So you multiply that by 500 times, you come up with like my spar. It's actually 7/8 of an inch on a root and about half an inch on a tip. Imagine that section 30 inches long, and you extruded that 2 inches high, and you make that out of balsa.
There is no strength in straight carbon. The strength comes from the glue.
No, not true.
Okay.
The strength comes from the carbon. Glue, all the glue does is it just hold it together.
All right. The less glue you put in it, the less strength you got.
Not true.
Okay.
The glue goes on for the ride. That's it. The glue, it's a matrix that holds the carbon strands together, so they don't move around. That's why it's called composite. I mean, you can ask this anybody in the composite world, and instead tell you the same thing.
You leave the glue out, you won't have nothing. It'll be weak.
Wouldn't it be like
called composite material? It says you take two materials with dissimilar properties, and together, they make a new material. And that's what, the carbon gets the strength, the glue holds the shape. That's all the glue does. And actually, the more glue you put in a carbon structure, it just goes on for the ride and doesn't add to the strength at all.
But carbon in its native form would just be a powder, wouldn't it? There would be no structure to it at all, wouldn't it? It would be like titanium or something.
Right, it's just nothing.
Yeah, well, this is actually has some strength to it. Try to take a 12K toe in your hand and try to break it apart, just pull it apart. You just can't. I mean, it's just a rope. because basically you have a rope in your hand. If you just try to pull it apart, you can't.
Yeah,
And
I was wondering about like carbon fiber toe or whatever.
Mhm.
Is that just pure carbon fiber, or is there something holding them particles together? Another kind of glue?
You can take tow and break it without any glue in it.
Well, if it's very, very thin, yeah, you can, but we have a bundle of tow. Can't really do that.
So is the carbon more of a fiber than a particle? Is it a long particle or a long fiber? And is it what you're saying? And it's
Yeah,
not.
it's a very thin strand of carbon fiber. I don't know how they make it, but that basically it's like a string, a very small size.
Here's a piece of string that you will not ever break.
What you got?
Thread. Kevlar
Yep.
for parachutes. It's so damn strong. You try to take it and pull it like that, you'll cut your finger off.
But it's not strong enough to use as control lines.
Probably is.
Now they won't let us use. They got to use steel ones. They won't let us use anything else.
I think the Kevlar is not as strong as the Spectra style line. The Spectra line is for its weight and size is still stronger than the Kevlar, because the Kevlar lines end up thicker.
Mm-hmm.
I have 300 foot of unobtainium line here. I need to make these up. This is a 15,000 3-strand nickel soldered line.
That stuff from the Ukraine.
It's from the England.
Oh, it's from the English stuff. Okay.
And let me see if I can read the address here. I'm getting bad. SK, yeah, UK. It's made in the UK by Progress Aeroworks, Union Mill, Union Street, Mansfield, United Kingdom. 15,000 3-strand.
So it's PAW. They've got it on their website.
This is what David Fitzgerald flies on.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what, if you take this, you let that loose off the reel, I bet this thing will boing like a spring.
Yeah, a friend of mine had some of that, and that was the thing. You had to be so careful reeling it up, because if you were talking or whatever, and do it, you go boom. It was all just stuck out and all tangled, and going through it trying to get it untangled and stuff. It didn't, kick up or anything. Made a rat's nest.
Did you see this latest toy I picked up?
Looks like a PA box.
Yeah.
75. I bet $1. 75.
It's another 75, but this one here is one of the original ones. It's number 54 from 11 years ago.
Oh, sure.
Brand new, unrun, unmounted.
Where'd you find that at?
Yeah, a buddy of mine.
Oh, okay.
I had 7 of them at one time, and when we built our Thunderbolts, he had 2 of them, and he had this one, and I went over and got it.
I didn't realize that the PAs, you could get them in either the regular configuration, but actually David Fitzgerald runs his own port timing and all. You can get it in that too.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. He choked the motor off. He blocked off the bypass port.
I like that K77 though that they made to replace the upgrade.
pretty close to an exact copy of a 75.
Oh, it's a sweet motor. I like it a lot. I'm using that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a copy, you know, but it's supposed to run really good.
Ooh.
Jamie, how's your repair job going over there?
Oh man, it's peachy. I got back together. You know, it's pretty solid. Got the tail wheel back going. It's good. I fixed the crack in the center sheeting.
Were any of the bars broken?
That wasn't really a crash. That was just a fast stop.
Yeah.
I'll show you a crash one of these days.
And then it hit and it came up and it went up about 30 foot up, blew right over and boom. Yeah.
It looked like it rode on the canopy for just a little bit.
Huh?
Did it wear down part of the canopy?
I got about a foot long black streak on the concrete.
You take a marks a lot, felt tip pen, and darken it up. You'll never know.
I'm gonna blend it in.
Marky, what type of vinyl are you using when you paint your plane? When you make that map?
I don't use any vinyl. I use paint mask. All this is painted on.
Whose paint mask do you use?
U.S. Cutter.
U.S. Cutter, yeah, that's what.
This is it right here.
What's so cool is about 5 miles from my house, we got a store now that sells all of the U.S. Cutter stuff.
Or mask stencil film 813 is what this is.
Yeah, looks just like the stuff we got. They got different stuff there, and you can go there and you can buy it in 1 foot sheets, or you can buy 2 foot roll or bigger roll, or they'll tell you whatever you want.
They can send me 100 yards.
What, do you got a machine to cut it with?
Yeah.
If you look at my YouTube,
I gotta get my
I unboxed the cutter, and I did a video on the software where I did the Tom Morris Max B, and like this right here, this shell and the Wicks and the Motel 6. I just went online and got a JPEG of their logo and brought it in, and you bring it in as trace image and you turn it into a vector file, and then size it up wherever how you want it and cut it out. It takes two stencils to do the 2 colors. It takes 3 stencils to do 3 color. It's real easy to do.
Yeah, it works. It works.
Is that a light adhesive then?
This mask. Here, let me.
I got a picture of a crash. That's what a crash looks like, Jamie.
That's a proper crash.
Yes.
Yeah.
I turned 2 early on a windy day and I overhead 8. That's what happens when you turn into a crosswind straight overhead.
This
We had
is
3 points.
This is a stencil ready to go on here. It has transfer tape on it. And you just peel it off and it transfers the mask to your work area, and then you pull the transfer tape off and tape around it and spray it. It takes 2 seconds to paint all this stuff.
That's your backer tape right there right there where we can see in the very corner of your picture, isn't it?
This is this right here is transfer tape.
Yeah.
I have this, and I have the clear.
And when you pull that off, it doesn't pull the paint off on the finish with.
No, very, very low tack, like 0 tack.
The hardest part is getting the backer or the off of it. You got to really bring it back on 180-degree angle because it's such low tack, it'll raise the stencil up. On Samantha's plane, we ruined one stencil and had to recut another one.
I never tried doing this yet. I always just bought the vinyls and the decal. I made a vinyl decal and stuck them too. But I like this idea. I just never experienced with it. I don't know. And I was always concerned if I stick it down and I peel it off, I'm going to peel the finish of the paint off.
If it does, your finish of your paint ain't on that good.
On what he's showing, yeah, because he said it's very low tack.
Yeah, it's real. That's what I mean. If it would ever pull your finish, then your finish isn't bonded to.
Right. Hey, he's saying it's very low tack. I mean, the vinyls I put on have a heavy tack to them. If I pull that off, I know I'll pull the finish off with it.
So this is not vinyl. Here, I'll show you here. This is a arrow. I'm not going to use this arrow, but I'll just take it off the backer here. I'll go ahead and I'll put a piece of transfer tape on it and I'll show you how that works. Bring me up, Rusty.
All right, hang on. I'm off screen right now. Let me get you to click on and where the hell are you? There you are. Okay, you're up.
I don't see it.
Well, let me hit present to everyone. That'll show it. Everybody should have you now.
Okay, this transfer tape is super low tack. I mean, it's like nothing. And you take it and you put it on, make sure you can see it. Yeah, not really, because it.
The other way, Sparky.
You gotta go the other direction, Sparky.
Well, there we go. There we are.
Yeah, you're above the pictures now.
Move to your left a little bit.
You take a tool like this. It's just a spatula, so to speak, and you press it down, and that sets the backer to the stencil. Then I take an X-Acto knife and I cut the stencil along the indexing box. Take that out of that. There we go. So then you got a stencil like this. So you grab the transfer tape. It's hard to get up. I gotta set it down to get it up. Put it down too good.
I'm trying not to get blood on it.
On.
There's no such thing as playing without blood on it.
There we go. Okay.
That'd be
So
crisp.
you pull the back off of it, and you got a stencil like this. Then you take this over on the wing and stick it down. Rub it down real good.
You're gonna have to move your airplane up now, Sparky. There you go. Now you're above the pictures.
Okay. Then the hard part is to get this backer off of it. I wish I wouldn't have done it right there.
Yeah, usually bend it first and then there you go. You got it on the first try.
I'm going to do it on the leading edge. I don't want to poke a hole accidentally into my sheet, into my covering. So you press it down real good. Take an X-Acto knife and you got to peel up the backer. So the backer peels up, yeah, you can see it. The backer peels up like so. And you press this down real good. Tape around it. Spray, you're done. And then take an X-Acto knife again. Get underneath the stencil to get it up without screwing stuff up. There we go.
I'll tell you a little trick on that we found out. If you take one of the corners, if you take one of the corners, like where your finger's at right there, and you put talcum powder on it,
Yeah.
and fill everything away from where you got to paint, then when you tape it all out, that piece you can just take your finger and it'll come up and you can grab it, peel it back. And then you don't even have to use a razor blade.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
We just use Staring.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, if I wasn't in a hurry, I usually take these here like this and bend the corner over, like so.
Yeah, you can do it like that. It'll pick up. Put a little talcum powder on it, and it works really slick.
I can't believe I lost that vinyl decal I made of the shell. I made one out of vinyl so I could see what it would look like.
Hopefully it'll turn up while you're straightening up your table.
You have it lost that you just put it where you would forget where you put it.
No, it's...
Yeah, I always put mine someplace really safe and then can't find it.
I probably threw it out.
I'm excellent in doing that. I put things away and I can't find them after that.
Yeah, I had the hardest time finding some half-ounce fiberglass, and I finally got somebody to bring me back some from Brodak when they were going up there, and so I had a big old pack of fiberglass, and it was Christmas time, and I had it on the table sitting next to me where we were wrapping Christmas presents, and I had just a ton of that present tissue and white and all different colors. And when it was after Christmas, I couldn't find that fiberglass anywhere, and I just knew I must have packed it up in one of those millions of boxes of Christmas wrapping crap that's up in the attic. And finally, I bitched about it. I was just about ready to buy a new pack of it, and I'm walking through the shop and looked, and it was pinned to my bulletin board in the shop. And safest place ever.
These look like decals, but they're painted on.
So you do the one. What do you paint the shell itself first, or the red, and then go back with yellow, or
paint yellow first and then red over it? You can't paint yellow over red. You get orange.
Boy, lining that up must have been a real pain in the butt.
Nope. Index. See, here's the two stickers. I explained this in my thing. You put this sticker down first and paint that yellow, and then this is cut to the exact same size. You index it over the top of it and stick that one down, and then peel the backer off and paint it orange, and then you peel them all up. But as long as you make the boxes the exact same size, you don't have to worry about lining them up. The Motel 6
very nice details in those little parts.
Pardon me?
The amount of detail in that emblem is very nice. Nicely done. It means that you have a good machine that cuts pretty nicely.
The Motel 6 indexing box is like this. And you put this one down first. And paint all inside here the light blue. And then you index this one over the top of that. And you paint this red. And then when you peel it up, there's a second line in between it. And that gives you the white stripe between the 6 and the red and the blue.
Very, very nice.
The cutter would not cut those micro little letters in Motel. Well, they were just too tiny. So when I get back to Dayton, I'll take my white rapidograph and write in there Motel.
Now with the girl and the dice and all that, is that all painted on too, or is that a slide decal?
That's a decal.
Okay.
There's
Yeah,
$45 worth of decals on this.
yeah, I was gonna say to index all that out and do it, that'd be freaking tough.
Can be done though.
Yeah.
It would probably take longer to paint the decals with an airbrush than it did to build the airplane. But it could be done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to. One of these days, I'm going to try to print out some decals myself. See how it works.
I'm getting pretty good at taking graphics off the internet and vectoring the stencils to make these. I've got it figured out pretty good on how to, what rotation of stencils you got to do to get them painted on there so they look right.
Yeah, I tried to get Samantha to come on tonight, but she was already in bed.
I search Google for decal pictures, but I've never done any stencils like that before. So that's something I need to graduate towards doing in my future builds.
I'll pull up the software if you want to see how it's done.
Yeah, one of the stencil things is about $100, I think. I bought mine used because it only does, I think, 12 inches wide. And the new ones, I think there's like 18 and a 2-foot one, or whatever it is. I think Sparky's got that great big one. But
probably 17.
How big is yours, Sparky?
48.
48, yeah. That's the same thing my buddy Dick's got. He got the freaking printer, looks like a big printer looking thing.
Yeah.
In his front room. But he sold me his for $50. And it'll do 12, I haven't found anything that I can't do with 12 inches. Not like that high roller. That'd be easier on a big one instead of doing 2.
No, you paint it long or print it long ways, turn it up and down. You can do that on a 6-inch printer.
I got to step away for a minute. Y'all have fun while I'm away. I'll be right back.
Let me see if I can present this to you, screen share.
Oh, you want me to set you on before I walk away?
Yeah, that'd be good. If I can get this up.
Yeah, here, I'll do present to all. And there you go.
With a composite, when you're doing the painting in it before you lay everything up, are you taping that off by hand, or are you using the stencils like that?
Okay. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay. What I do is this is a vector program. It turns things into line vectors, and so I find a object on the web, and you hit trace image, then you browse for it on the computer where you saved it at. We'll see if I can find some object or some desktop. Okay, so let's find something I haven't done. I haven't done that. Okay. We'll do the Stunthangar banner. And you open it and you see how it took that banner and brought it in like that. You hit OK. And then I can manipulate the banner any way I want. Now this is not a very clean drawing. So let's take the fill color out and see what it looks like. Cancel. Fill color none. Yeah, that's not a very clean drawing to show, so I'll get another one. Delete. All right, let's do this one. Trace image. Any JPEG that you find on the internet, you can do. So let's do the STP one because I haven't done that. So we'll open that. and it vectored that into a line drawing. You hit OK. So now I have the STP, and I make a box around it. This is the indexing box. So I'm going to make a box. And I'll take the color out of that because I don't want to cut that color. None. We're going to take the color out of the STP too. So we'll see if we can't still color that. Let's just to show you that you can use any fill color you want, but I use none. I'll hit OK. Yeah, I turned it red there. But I don't want any color. I just want the stroke because I don't want the needle to go crazy all over the place. So I take and I choose none. So that gives a vector drawing. I hit center and center that up. And then this box that I made, I hit center and that centers that up. And okay, so now I have the box around the STP. I'm going to group that. Object group. It's real simple to do. So now these two pieces are together. And we can make it any size we want. It's now 11, almost 12 inches wide by 9 inches high. Well, obviously that's too big. We'll keep the proportions and we'll shrink it down to that's 2 inches by 1.5 inches. So then I'll line that up to the top. And I hit cut. I don't have the thing turned on now, but it's right there on the printer. This represents the printer in the feed direction. And you hit cut and spits it out. So it's not really anything to do.
Now, with that though, if you had to do two of them, you got to put one next to it and then cut one way, one the other.
I'm sure you can copy them side by side and put them together.
We'll copy it,
Paste
it in place. Then I use the mouse over. Now I got 2. So what I want to do there, let's say we want 4. So take those 2 there and group those together. Object group. And then we'll copy that group. Copy. Click over here, paste in place. I just paste in place so that they stay in a line. Otherwise, nope. Now I got 4 of them. We'll make 8 of them.
What I'm saying is that okay? You want your outside border one color, and then your letters a different one. So somehow you got to tell that printer which one to cut. And
nope. That's up to you. That's in the weeding process. All that's going to do.
That's it all, and you just peel out the part.
You got to peel out the part that you want to peel out. Paste in place. I mean, it'll cut it, but it ain't going to weed it for you. So now I got 8 of them, and I hit cut, and let's view this a little bigger so that let's see, that's Control plus view, zoom in, view, zoom in. Okay, well, okay, so let's say we're going to cut this. That bounding box is just for index. So we're always going to leave the bounding box on the outside because that's how we line that up. So we're going to take the scalpel and pick out the inside of the oval and leave those white STP there. And then on this one, I'm going to leave the outside oval and pick out the STP. You see what I'm saying? So now you got a color switch. You can just lay one over the top of each other. Yeah. And I think there's a blue line in there. So you have to pick out a third one and just pick out the blue line. I'm not sure that I can see that on this. You would see it when you cut it. Let's see if we can blow it up. And
I can actually do a lot of this with Microsoft Publisher.
It doesn't make a vector though.
No.
You could do it but I'd have to take it into this program to turn it into the file that the
Okay.
cutter reads.
Yeah, that's right.
This SVG file. Can you save an SVG file?
I don't know. Hang on, and I'm going to find out though. SV is in vector G.
Sam
That's
Vector Global.
Okay. I'll know it in about a half a minute.
Now, if you could do that, I mean, otherwise, I can read JPEGs or PDFs and then I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I can save it as a PDF.
All I'm doing is changing the file to what this cutter reads.
Yeah. When you buy the cutter,
And then you just peel out the section that you want to paint on each one when you made the 3.
Correct.
but yeah, I mean, when you buy the cutter, it comes with a program to automatically do that. So you really don't need any other programming.
No, you need the cutter. You need to buy the cutter.
Yeah, that's why I said when you buy the cutter, you get the program with it.
Yeah. No, I can save as JPEG, PDF, any of that stuff, but no, not the SVG. Okay.
Yeah, it's really easy to import it into this.
It's that is just a file that the program recognizes.
Yeah, I can save it as an XPS.
Yeah, but the file that you import into that program perhaps has to be, from what I know, has to be a pretty good quality Photoshop file, and the colors should be like a solid color, not like a picture of my face, because it doesn't recognize that. However,
Right.
Yeah.
probably if you give it something like this, it will recognize the writing on it or the logo. So you have to have clear colors and stuff like that and a good quality picture. If I tell the machine to cut my face over there, I mean, the machine is going to go, what the heck am I looking at?
Yeah. Yeah, it would leave you an ugly border all around it.
The bigger the file, the better. So if I got a 3 meg.
So if you want to cut, you can cut that. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you have clear they are distinguished in different colors and are clearly separated.
Right. You can cut a hand, you know, if you take a sketch and make something and then put it on a scanner and then bring it in as a JPEG. I can cut those, but the lines are still a little jagged because of the pixels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't know which way it goes, right?
Right. It goes. It's
no clear delimitation between the colors.
Right. So the bigger the file and the more clear the file, the better the cut will turn out.
Well, now you can get, was it Samsung or whatever, that new phone they're supposed to come out with has 100 megapixel on a damn little cell phone camera. It's like crazy.
Yeah, a cell phone picture into a cell phone picture is a really good quality picture.
Yeah.
You can take the new a 4K picture. Forget 100 megapixels, a 4 kilo.
Do they have cameras that take 4K pictures now?
Oh, yeah.
On your cell phone, yes.
The nice thing about this cutter that I got is if you want to do a custom stencil for inking, like I inked my lines around the XL on my other airplane, I just put that C-temp in that cutter and cut the pattern right there and lay it on there and go around with an ink pen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I watched you do that.
Yeah.
That was a test. I mean, I didn't know that it would work, but I kind of thought that it would, because that C-temp, you just scribe it and then tear it out, and that cutter cut it easy.
Yeah, they're carbide cutters, aren't they?
I don't know. I never replaced one.
Yeah,
I haven't used it enough to. I've probably only made 100, maybe 150 stencils on it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a solid carbide cutter, if I remember right. I don't have mine here right now, just for the reason is a lot of let a buddy of mine use it, and he's been cutting stuff with it. And but usually just sits over there and plug it into the computer, and the thing will cut away.
I got something here for you if you guys want to see it, if you're interested.
Yeah,
I got some different materials. Okay, so for example, this is a unidirectional carbon fiber.
Yeah.
See that? All the fibers go in one direction.
Yeah.
And on the back side has some kind of a binders that kind of hold the strands in position and straight. And I mean, and this stuff, you can pull all you want on it. It's
yeah, but you see it bent. I mean,
it doesn't have resin in it. It has, you know, that's how it's a fabric. It's like your fiberglass. Same thing. You have to put resin inside of it, but there are different kinds. So this is unidirectional, for example, and this is called Textream. It's called a spread tow. It's a spread tow carbon fiber. So what they do, they make this. They take like a 12K tow and spread it out in very, very thin strips, very wide. And this is actually like a fabric that you weave it, but you weave it with these flat layers. Like you cut a sheet of paper like 1 inch wide, and you make a cloth.
Weaving a basket.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is called Textream, and it comes to, I mean, I think they start at 54 grams per square meter, and they go up from there in weight. Some other stuff in here. For example, this is the stuff I use in my wings. This is called Carbo Weave. This is also a spread tow technology in which they spread it in one direction and then they spread it in opposite direction. So this layer on the bottom is all in one direction. This layer on the top is all in opposite direction. So it creates this 45-degree pattern. And it has some kind of a binder into it that holds it in position like this, like a very soft glue that dissolves. Once you put the epoxy inside, the glue is going to dissolve, right? And I mean,
it's kind of like a sizing.
Exactly. It's just holding this together. If you see the pattern to it.
Yeah.
So this is called Carbo Weave. This is some other stuff. This is also a spread tow that I buy from Easy Composites. It's 100 gram per square meter density. It's about 4/1000 of an inch thick. But imagine you have this piece of balsa, 2 inches thick. So it's 1/4 inch by 2 inches thick. This is the kind of strength you get out of this guy, right? And it weighs close to nothing. So if you have a spar and you want to laminate this on top of it, you can stick it with 3M77. You can hit it with the thin CA on top of it, right on top of a spar, stays there, done deal. This is very good for reinforcing just about anything.
Yeah, that was what we used to do our back in the 80s on our RC pattern airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
We actually glue that to the spar before we ever put the spar in. Some people even put it on both sides of the piece of balsa 1/4 by 1/4.
Yeah.
And then put it in as a spar.
I use a lot of 3M77 for this kind of purpose, you know. And I just use 3M77. I'm putting my, say you put the material down here, you spray above it in that direction, perpendicular. And you let the spray kind of drizzle down on the top of this. So it's very small quantity of 3M, right? But it's almost like a very, very light tack, like the transfer taper that you have there, sparking here. So it has a little bit of tack to it, right? So that now when you stick it on top of whatever piece of wood, a sheeting or whatever, you know, it's going to stay there in position.
Yeah.
And after that, you can easily put whatever you want to put in it. You can put the epoxy, right? It's gonna go right through it, and it's gonna glue to whatever, to your spar, to material, whatever. Or you can use. I like to use thin CA. It's just as good.
Yeah. I remember when my friend Bob taught me to fix a spar I broke in the field across the street from his house. We took it over into his shop and we cut the canopy off and got down to the broken spar and just gouged about a 3-inch long channel in the top of the spar and packed. We twisted up some carbon tow and packed it in there, and then wet it with CA and packed, and then layered it. Kept packing, and it was like making a CF rod when we were through. It was, it was like a solid carbon fiber rod.
Yeah, not gonna break there no more. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. One more thing is like this kind of material, the spread toe that goes 45 degrees. If you go like this and put it on the side of your profile fuselage, it gives it a tremendous amount of torsional strength, because you need to orient the strands where they do the actual work, right?
Yeah.
So this will be torsional, right? But now if you go with this on top of it, like this in this direction, you see that?
Yeah.
Now you help the fuselage in the other direction so it doesn't bend.
You laminated it between two pieces of 1/4-inch balsa wood, you'd have a baseball bat.
Actually, if you put it on the outside, it has more strength, and it works better than in between them. Yeah, it's gonna increase the strength, but you're gonna gain more from the outside surface. So if you have a profile, even if it's a build-up profile, if you take this stuff and you put it on the outside of it, man, this is gonna be pretty awesome.
I wish I'd known about that when I started building my Cardinal fuselage last year.
Did you put that down with dope?
That?
Yeah.
I'll probably go with epoxy, but what you want to do with epoxy, if you do this with epoxy, again, you apply the same technique. You kind of you set it on the top of the table, you spray the 3M77 above it, and let it drizzle down. Yeah. And you can take this and just put it right on top of your balsa. With your bare hands, you kind of spread it out, right? Then what you do, you take a paint roller, one of those little 2-inch paint rollers, you mix up your resin. And if you have a resin that's kind of viscous or something like that, you can add some isopropyl alcohol to it. The pure one, not the denatured stuff, right? So you can thin it out a little bit. So you take this roller and you put it on paper towel so it's kind of dry, right? So, and then with this dry roller, then you use this to wet the carbon. Because if you use the roller, it's very soaking wet. It's going to go through the carbon, and then it's going to go through the balsa. It's going to soak in. You're going to have a heavy mess on your hands, right? You just need to hold it to the balsa wood. So what you do by using a dry roller, you have a very little resin that you are adding to it, and you have to push down on the roller a little bit to get it wet, and that's okay because you put minimum amount of resin inside of it. And it's going to stick very nicely to the balsa. One thing you want to make sure you do to the balsa before you do any of this, you want to vacuum it out, take all the dust out of it, because whenever you use a dry layout that has very little resin, it kind of sticks to the dust on top of the balsa, and then you wonder why it comes off. It laminates. So that's all I have to say about that. So I'm done with my my little thing here. James, you got there, bud?
What's that?
What you got there?
Wake up, James.
You have a nice bird over there.
Yeah, I finally got to fly to Gypsy though Saturday.
What do you got, guys? Right there, Jamie.
Was that?
What airplane you got on the bench right there?
That's the Gypsy.
Oh, okay.
Later, I'm gonna go to bed.
All right, Sparky, take her easy.
All right.
All right. See you later.
You know.
Oh, and I got
Need a little more trimming, and then it'll be right.
I went on a fly Saturday too. I just I sneaked out and I burned like 6 batteries back to back, an hour plus of flying or so. I was trying new stuff over there. I took out the 12-inch propellers that I had in my toolbox. So I put a 12.5 on it. I was running 11.5 3 blade. I put a 12.5 2 blade, and basically I didn't have to do no changes whatsoever. I just put the prop on. I flew the plane. Was flying just fine. Actually, it was cornering better. It seems like the motor was just pulling even harder this time. And then I tried the 12.6 to see if I get any changes over there. So I got to the 12.6. I dropped down the RPM a little bit, and that was even better. It was just getting better and better. So that's kind of where I stopped. I set up the speed on it, doing some 1 minute flights, a bunch of 1 minute flights, minute and a half flights. And after that, I kind of settled in on a 12.6. Next time I'm going out, I would like to try the other propellers I have, the 12.7 and 12.8. I think I have one. But I'm afraid the 12.8 is going to drop in thrust. So 12.6 gives me the best line tension I ever had. The motor is spinning a little bit slower at the low RPM, and the cornering is just as good as before. I'm suspecting the 12.7 at even lower RPM. I may lose a little bit of thrust, but I may gain more brake in a motor, where it just going to pull or maybe accelerate a little bit harder, and lower the thrust on it. But I'm not sure what's going to happen. Maybe a 13.7 would be more appropriate for that than to get some equivalency. But long story short, it's pretty good. I have right now. I think I'm going to run a 12.6 from now on because I like it.
Oh no! Tell me, what was the engine size again?
My size?
42.
Yeah, what engine was it again?
42 millimeter, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4250.
Yeah.
Actually, those motors are capable of spinning a 14, 16-inch prop. I'm running only a 12 on it, so it's not even trying right now.
How about your undercarriage, though? You said you only had a minimum clearance with the 3-blade. How are you managing them with your ground clearance?
On the field that I was flying from this past weekend, it's like a soccer field with a track, with a running track around it. So I was taking off from the running track and kind of landing on the grass. So I kind of got away with it. I have enough clearance for that. That's for sure. Perhaps I have some grass that's really short and the plane rolls off of that grass easily. That will also work. With a 12-inch, I still have about half an inch worth of clearance on the bottom.
Why don't you just go with a taller wheel on it?
It's fine.
Why don't you just go with a taller wheel?
Oh, I already have like 2.5 on it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have some.
Your undercarriage are removable, though. You could make up new undercarriage if you absolutely have to, I suppose.
Yes, in the plans, we also have in the plans to make a new landing gear strut that's going to be about an inch longer, which gives us another extra half an inch worth of ground clearance.
You just need to go to work and borrow their carbon fiber stretcher and just stretch that out and give you a little more clearance.
Yeah. yeah, it's like, yeah. If you look at it, you can see how low is it sitting. It's right now. It's hanging on the wall. You see how low that is?
Yeah.
Very low.
So yeah, I have close to an inch in this direct. In this position, it has almost an inch of clearance right now, even
Yeah,
with
that's
the
pretty
12-inch
good.
prop. But if my landing gear will be like another half an inch lower, I'll be just no issues. I'll probably even run a 13-inch on this plane. And I think it's gonna get better with a 13-inch and more pitch. You can, yeah, like I said, like I said last time, you can have different propellers and with the different pitches, and you can get the same thrust and same speed. So all depends what you have. But usually the lower RPM with big diameter gives you the same thrust, and as you go big diameter and higher pitch, you need to lower the RPM. But because you have higher pitch, you have the same speed, so you can achieve them same speed, same thrust with different propellers, different combinations.
What kind of wheels are you running on it?
On mine, I think they're like Dubro light wheels.
You need to try them. I think they're MPI. I think it's MPI.
Mm-hmm.
They're aluminum wheel.
Mm-hmm.
They're real thin. And everybody said, "Oh, them won't work on the grass."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I think they'll cut through the grass easier."
Mm-hmm.
No, that won't work. But that thing's work so great in grass
Mm-hmm.
that the wider wheels grab the grass or something. It's like the grass sucks them down. And
I think the thinner one just cuts through the grass because it's just thinner. It just slices through it, and you just can plow through it. The big wheels are just digging into the grass.
I suppose they're trying to push the grass over.
Mm-hmm.
but there's the wheels.
They're nice.
What type of wheels are those, Steve?
MPI, I think they are. I got them from Tom Morris.
Mm-hmm.
And if the rubber wears out, you use they're a pain in the ass to get off. But actually, you can buy new rubber. So if you're using
the hubs are pretty strong on those.
Pardon me?
The hubs are pretty strong on those, right?
Yeah, they're aluminum. It's billet aluminum or something. It's beautiful. They roll so good. They're nice and straight. They come with a plastic insert as a bushing. So if you tear out the bushing's replaceable, and the rubber's replaceable. Because flying off a pavement with Samantha's other airplane there, it actually wore down the rubber, and I just got some more rubber and.
Is that your plane?
I'm looking for a better wheel. How much do they weigh? What?
They're light as hell. I think they're probably they're as light as like a Dubro wheel. For the reason is they're so thin. There ain't as much.
The foam type 2 1/4 inch wheels with the plastic hubs, and I'm on a new airplane and I'm breaking the hubs.
Yeah. That right there, I don't know. They work. What was crazy is that usually in grass, you got to put your landing gear up forward.
Right. I'm on asphalt.
Right. And then asphalt, you put them back.
Right.
Well, them wheels, we don't have to change over the landing gear. They go through the grass so good that it'll land on grass or pavement. And you don't got to switch back and forth. But they just cut through grass like crazy. And that's been the only thing we've been using for the last year and a half. But they work good. Because otherwise, like on the Becker and stuff, if we went to grass, we'd flip the landing gear around and use it that way. And then go back to pavement, flip it the other way. And this, we just leave it set up for pavement, and it'll take off and land Samantha's never tipped one over, tipped it up on its nose or anything.
And they're less than a half. You think they're less than a half ounce a piece?
I think so. They're really light.
Like for it,
I think
they're 0.4 a piece. They're 0.4 a piece.
Yeah.
But I'm breaking the hubs in the center.
You let get it float like a butterfly, not sting like a bee.
Well, here's opposite. These are my wheels for my Chief, vintage wheels, and they weigh a ton. There must be 4 ounces of my landing gear, but I wanted period look wheels.
Yeah, did they say made in Germany on them?
Oh, these are made in New Zealand. These were made locally in New Zealand by Model Air, a very old company that started in the 1930s. So I've got period-looking vintage wheels.
Ball wheels.
Alloy hubs, multi-piece alloy hubs. But yeah, I won't put them on my Vector. That's on my old Chief. Oh, they look neat.
Look at these.
Yeah, they look nice. Yeah, they look really neat, Jamie.
I mean, they're pretty similar. Yours said these says made in Germany. Something 60 by 20.
They look
weigh like 5 ounces each, it seems.
Yeah, they look like the Cavan wheels, if I remember rightly, in the old ads. But yeah, they have a nice vintage look anyway.
Is there a company that can just sell just the foam for the wheels, already formed or sized or something like that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find this MPI place. You can buy the foam that would go on that aluminum, but if you wanted to make them wheels out of carbon fiber, you could do them out of carbon fiber and then put the rubber on there and use the bushing.
Yeah, actually, I went so far ahead as of I was going to make my own hubs for the plane with spokes and all the good stuff and ball bearings inside the wheels and just really go bananas on that. But then I said, yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah, Tom Morris wheels seem good value. If it's all made, it works well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so sometimes I just don't know where to stop.
Yeah, save time for other activities. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wheel itself on the hub, right? It attaches, you just glue it in there, or?
Oh, it's called Max Products.
Max Products?
Max Products is
Carry the hub comes in 2 pieces?
No, it's a solid piece of aluminum.
And y'all yesterday, after all the flying was done, did the awards and they do the raffle and whatnot. Cool deal, cool stuff. I didn't win nothing yesterday. Won a few cool little tools Saturday. Buddy of mine won a twister. What he comes Dana twister. Real funny guy. Funny guy. Yeah, I won another twister. And then John Hill wins a profile Oriental kit. Hey, whatever. Walks up to me. Here you go. You crashed your plane. Have an Oriental. I'm just thinking to myself, I just know last week I really don't want this. So if somebody wins a Vector 40, and just jokingly like, hey, I trade you a twister or for a Vector 40. Yeah, give me the Oriental. So I end up with a Vector 40.
Oh, wow.
That was a win-win.
You know what? I want to make one to build a Vector and call it the Vector-ish thread, because I was going to make a brand new wing construction for it and basically keep all the geometry, but the construction completely different. And I was thinking about doing some geodesic wings and molded fuselage shells out the balsa and stuff like that. Just introduce a lot of stuff over there. But then I'm going like, hey, I don't have time for that. I only have so much time, so I kind of gave it up. I'm still looking at the plans.
You can't afford to reinvent the wheel all the time. That's the thing. You've only got so much time in a lifetime, and you've already progressed so well with your own models. Why rework somebody else's model? It seems strange. I can understand with a vintage model, but the Vector's not a vintage model. It's still current technology.
But it is a classic model, though, the original Vector.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like just something new, a new project to take on. But you are absolutely correct about what you just said. You know, it's like if you look at some of the top flyers, you know, around the world, they kind of fly the same plane year after year after year with small changes from year to year. And that's one thing I would like to do. I just like to settle in on this one model that I have right now, which is excellent, and just get better at flying it and knowing it better. That's
Makes sense.
Well, I just checked it out online, and a set of 2-inch wheels weigh 0.78 of an ounce.
0.78.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty light.
2-inch, 2¼ inch wheels are still under an ounce. You got to go to 2½-inch wheels to get over an ounce.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So
they're really light, and I forget. I got them from 1 3/4 up to 2½. I've tried them all, but they're being with aluminum and stuff like that. They don't bounce. If you go with a 2-inch or 2½-inch, they land the same on pavement, and you just need that little extra increase for prop diameter or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the tail wheel on this plane, actually, I made it myself, and it weighs about 1.2 grams, 3/4 inch diameter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I put I think I had like one of those self-lubricating plastic inserts inside of it in a center hub, and the hub, it's all aluminum machined, and I put an O-ring on the outside of it as a, for a tire. And it's 1.2 grams, super light.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, the other thing I found out about these wheels too is they don't bind. You know how you have to sit there and screw around with your that little hub thing? If you get it down there too tight, the wheel will either wobble or it sticks a little bit because they're not true or whatever. These wheels don't wobble. They don't.
Yeah.
They spin really nice, and they're they're not like the Dubro or Dave Brown wheels or any of them with that little bushing in there. I mean, they just I had that thing. You can just take the wheel and they'll just spin. And there's no flopping in it or anything.
Yeah. If I was going to make my own wheels, I'd just definitely go put a ball bearing inside of it. Or the worst case scenario, I would just put some kind of probably use a shoulder bolt, which is already ground and polished surface, and make a bushing inside the wheel that have like lifts maybe 2-3 thousandths worth of clearance between them, so they pretty much gonna last forever and be true for the life of the wheel, except for the rubber would just wear out and you have to replace it periodically.
Well, at least you're not going to have your wheel clogged up with castor oil like the old days, where you pick up an old model and then the wheels wouldn't turn; they're clogged up with castor oil. But yeah, electric does make it straightforward. No vibration to wear the wheels, because that's another thing on a heavy wheel on a traditional model. The wheels will vibrate from side to side, and you'll gradually gain more clearance. Whereas there's no vibration there; it won't wear.
Yeah, these are good. We had a pair of Dave Brown wheels. I don't know what it is about that foam, but how we had the muffler set up, it must have blew out exhaust on that wheel. And every so often we had to take and squeeze the wheel and squeeze the oil out of it.
Yeah, those yeah. That's disgusting, isn't it? They acquire a smell after a while too. Yeah,
but at least it was on the outside, so it was adding tip weight, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, well, I better go. It's been great talking to you all, and thank you very much, Rusty, for hosting the show.
Yeah,
and I better go to dinner.
Yeah, I gotta go too, guys. It's
Thanks for
o'clock.
coming in. And
Yeah, I got to be in the shop at 6:30 tomorrow morning. I'm gonna hate myself in the morning, but
Mhm.
oh well.
yeah, tomorrow's my surgical pre-op appointment, so I better be bright-eyed when I wake up in the morning. So yeah, it's a good time to close up shop for me.
Well, just
And,
tell them that you're on the internet all night long. Could they please write this down for you so you can remember the stuff we're trying to tell you?
And I've got Trey and left me for some questions for next time, because I was looking for pictures to ask and couldn't find them tonight about reinforcing the tail of my Cardinal, which is a story from way back. So I want to look and get recommendations on which one of those fabrics, and how I want to put it
Yeah,
on.
because that's the way to do it. Just how we showed tonight with that cross directional and
yeah, I got that 7/16 by 1/16 flat bar in it for the length of the tail end right now, but that doesn't stop it from torsional twisting. That just stops it from waggling back and forth. So we'll talk about that next time. But thanks, everybody.
Light fabric for that, but that's going to be a little bit more pricey. However, if you do that, you're going to have a bulletproof plane that's going to last forever, and it's going to be stiff as a board.
Yeah, that's the catch with me too. I still bust them up almost as fast as I build them. So maybe
why don't you get your hip fixed so you can turn circles better and stuff? I think that's gonna.
That's true. That's why I was hitting the ground for a while, and so was my carpal tunnel, which is fixed now. So maybe I'll be back better, bigger, better, stronger.
Well, after this spring there, when we seen you flying, what was it, the Buster? And it was doing like 4.2 second laps. Oh my God. And I'm like, I thought you couldn't go around in a circle with your hip anymore or anything.
Yeah,
well, he was flying around out there keeping up with that Buster.
So yeah, I was coming along real well then, but it just came apart. So we're going to do it again. And anyway, thank y'all all for coming and entertaining us. And that goes for you folks over on YouTube too. Thank you for your contributions and your conversations. And we'll see y'all again Friday night.
All right.
Soon.
Take care.
Same place.
Bye.
Same bat time, same bat channel.